The new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet starters have been some of the weirdest, yet some of the best ones we've ever seen. Upon the reveal, most people did not seem to like them, but lo and behold, 15 minutes later, everyone and their mothers seemed to love them. But last generation, most people were fans of the Gen 8 starters, but their evolutions, not so much. So hopefully in Gen 9, we maintain these great designs, and these Pokemon do end up looking amazing. But in case they don't, I got my own personal starter evolutions for these Pokemon, and we're going to be starting off this list with Fuecoco, cause he's so round and cute, I gotta keep him happy at all times. Do you know what else is round and needs to be kept happy? Your balls. This video is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped was generous enough to gift me with their Perfect Package 4.0, the perfect package for men's grooming and hygiene. Trust me fellas, I know the burden of carrying a jungle around with you, but with Manscaped, I don't gotta worry about taking any recoil damage. Their Lawnmower 4.0 is an electric, waterproof trimmer with advanced skin-safe technology, reducing all those nicks and cuts that you normally receive on your man parts. It being cordless and waterproof makes it very convenient to use. Its charging dock is also wireless. Its LED lights show you how much of your 90 minutes full charge you still have left remaining. It comes with a travel lock feature when you hit the button on the front 3 times. Along with the Lawnmower 4.0, we also have the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, as well as the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. And oh baby, do these make me smell like a man. Didn't know that I ever needed these, but now that I have them, I can never go back. Manscaped really thought of everything, cause here comes the magic mat to keep your floor covered. And for a limited time, you can get all of this and 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag and the Anti-Shaving Boxers. Head on over to manscaped.com and get 20% off, plus free international shipping, plus 2 free gifts when you use the promo code HybridHero at checkout. Link will be in the description down below. While all 3 starters are very much loved, Fuecoco is definitely the one that is loved the most, and its design and origins are probably the most complex. Obviously it's either crocodile or alligator based, but there are talks about how it could turn into a snake to fit the Chinese zodiac theory, or another theory that mentions how it's technically supposed to be the ox, and that still works with the Chinese zodiac theory. But I would personally like it to stay crocodile and have nothing to do with the Chinese zodiac. But point is, Fuecoco has a few evolution routes. And not just in terms of animals. Even in terms of food, Fuecoco seems to be based off of pepper, chocolate, or a coconut. And I say coconut because it's probably based off the Cucufera, an Iberian festival dragon, and this makes sense because of the little shell armor thing that it has going on. And its face is also very pale in color, similar to the inside of the coconut. So it's most likely this, or it goes the ghost pepper route and this mask becomes a skull kind of thing. Again, between the 3 starters, Fuecoco is definitely going to be the hardest to pin down, and that goes for typings as well. Fire Dragon, Fire Poison, Fire Ground are all common types I've seen for Fuecoco, as an alligator turning into a dragon or being dragon type makes sense. Poison if we go the snake route, and Ground since Fuecoco is so lazy and bulky and all, as mentioned on the website. It's definitely going to be a slower, tankier Pokemon. Fire Dark could also work, and maybe even Fire Rock, and of course Fire Ghost because of the Ghost Pepper narrative that we mentioned earlier. But despite all these great typings, my Fuecoco evolutions go for a different route. Here we have Fuecoco's first evolution, Armacoco. Hope I said that in the Spanish way. And yes, just like my mascot legendary designs for Scarlet and Violet, every single one of these starter evolutions was made by Amalry Art, or in other words, Brasto Region, so hats off to him. And once again, shout out to Hoops with the animations. Now the reason why we're doing Fuecoco's pure fire type evolution first is because, well, its evolution kind of determines the route of the second starter that we cover. Amalry and I decided that it was time to get a fire type starter on all 4s. So you can see Armacoco here is starting to move from being bipedal to dropping down on all 4s. It's gotten chubbier and heavier, and it's definitely slower, and its expression has gone from being all happy to looking a little worried because it's not sure how to manage to move around properly with the new weight that's gotten. And so it's lost a lot of confidence. The mask on its head has become darker and grown out more, there's now fire spouting from its head, and its tail has gotten bigger as well. And how could I forget? A yellow line of spikes down its back to represent the Cucufera, as that's where most of its origins come from. I decided to go the route of the Cucufera and go with the coconut based design as well. And while coconut aspects may not be so apparent on its design, that's what its mask will represent and where it'll get its secondary typing. By the way, Amalry did help me out with some of the names, but we decided to go for more English names for these starters, since there's no way I was going to get the Espanol correct on these guys. So Fuecoco is literally just armor and crocodile or coconut, depending on how you look at it. Cocoboom, on the other hand, has a name that simply comes from crocodile or coconut and kaboom. And as you can tell, the coconut elements of its head was leading up to Cocoboom to become a fire and steel type Pokemon. Now fire and steel works in tandem with the other starters, as we'll see in a bit, but right now, this is a typing that's exclusive to only Heatran. But it's such a good typing that we need to give it to at least one more Pokemon. You can see Cocoboom here has steel on its head, 4 legs, and tail, and it's finally gotten on all 4s and has become very comfortable and confident moving around this way. It's still very heavy and slow, but very tanky and powerful, and a Pokemon you definitely don't want to mess with. The yellow spikes on its back have split into 2 and turned black, and down the middle, fire erupts from its back. As the spikes make their way down its tail, they converge once again. It's a simple but cool design. And honestly, the main reason why I wanted to go this route with Fuecoco is again to keep it on all 4s, for the first time for a fire starter. But also, because now I've gotten out of the idea of the Chinese Zodiac theory, I kinda don't want it to be true anymore, so a snake or a bull design would really disappoint me. Moving on to Sprigatito, I think there's only 2 ways people see this evolution going. Either into a big 4-legged cat Pokemon that's like a lynx or something, or bipedal furry bait. And the general typings I'm seeing for possible Sprigatito evolutions are Grass Dark, or Grass Rock if it's going to be quadruped, and Grass Fairy or Grass Fighting if we're to become a Pokemon on 2 feet. And unfortunately for our roster, I told Amalry to make it bipedal furry bait. Yeah! But there are 2 good reasons for this. First and foremost, Sprigatito's hind legs look a bit more developed than its front, indicating to me that it will eventually stand up. Now you may think this is nothing, but if you look at Torracat, you'll see that was the exact same scenario for it that foreshadowed Incineroar standing on 2s. The other thing is that we decided to have Fuecoco's final evolution move to being on all 4s, and Pokemon typically does not like to have more than 1 Pokemon of a starter trio be on all 4s for some reason, so we have to make Sprigatito's evolution bipedal. And if it's going on 2 legs, we're going to be taking full advantage of its feminine features. And right off the bat, you can see what I'm talking about here with Rameline. Rameline is a pure grass type Pokemon, but I think its next typing is rather obvious. Rameline is up on 2s and becomes more of a dancer of sorts, as you can see with its step. Its tail has gotten bigger and more elegant, it's grown some fur around its chest and neck, the leaf symbol on its face remains, its ears have gotten a bit darker and bigger, and of course, it has some pink accents. Overall, this design and evolution choice goes the route of the Baliora flamenco dancer. Actually, I told Amalry to go the route of a Baliora dancer, but Google is telling me something else, so I think I had a translation issue there. But regardless, Sprigatito is a Pokemon that seeks attention, and I think turning into a flamenco dancer will give it the attention that it's looking for. And it would definitely get even more attention when it turns into its full furry bait form, Verdance, coming in with the grass fairy typing. Verdance's name comes from the words verde, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, for green in Spanish, and dance. Like I mentioned earlier, I really do think it's going to be furry bait, and it's also waifu bait if that's a thing. But irrespective of that, though I would like an evolution on all 4s, I still do very much like Verdance's design as well. Its feet are tippy-toed for that dancer effect, and it still has some fur coming from the back of its legs as well. It's got elegant fur coming off its arms to work as a part of its dress, with some pink at the ends of them. Its stomach is designed for the same way for all the more appeal. The fur around its chest and neck has grown a bit more so around the back. Its tail is significantly larger, which will of course help in capturing attention while it dances. And its hair has grown across its head to become, I don't know the word to use here, but it has more hair. Like I said though, I intentionally asked Amalry to make Verdance furry bait. That doesn't mean that it has to equate to being a bad Pokemon. I really like Incineroar, and it's considered to be furry bait as well. And I really like Verdance too. It also looks like it will be a very fast and offensive Pokemon, which is exactly what I think a Sprigatito evolution needs to be like. And finally, we have Quaxly, whose evolutions I think are the best between the 3, and the ones that I think most of you would prefer between the 3, but also the one that might be the most straightforward with its typing, evolutions, and design. First things first, the 2 type combinations that I think that are most likely for Quaxly are of course either water flying or water fighting. Leaning more towards water fighting because if it was water flying, I think it would have gotten that type by now in its first form. But we do have two other potential options, and that's once again Water Dark, which I don't want because then we would have as many Water Dark starters as we do Firefighting, which is maybe what they're trying to go for. And also, Zach opened my eyes to the possible starter type combination of Water Ice, which would be wow, as long as it's an offensive Pokemon. And I think it will be an offensive Pokemon for sure. But in what form? That's a question mark. Most people can see Quaxly being one of three things: a sailor, a pirate, or a matador. Now, being a sailor or a pirate is basically the same kind of thing, but if it turns into a pirate, it's 100% a dark type, and a sailor might be a fighting type. If it's a matador, it will probably also be a fighting type, but there's leeway for other type combinations as well. But I do think turning it into a matador makes the most sense here, since we are in Spain, and it would fit well with the starter theme that I have going on with all three of them. For Quaxly's first evolution, we have the pure water type Pokemon Validuck. Validuck's name comes from it being valiant and a duck. And its next evolution's name is probably my favorite name ever for a Fakemon. So I don't want to spoil what evolution route Validuck is taking quite yet, but hopefully through its name and design you already know. Validuck has a pretty basic design, but it being quite a drastic step up from what Quaxly was. Validuck is a lot taller and wider than Quaxly, with it having bigger legs and a notable green lower half. Its chest is a lot more puffed out now, and its wings have grown. It doesn't look like they're going to be used for flying as such, but they are indeed still growing. And then of course, the most notable change is Validuck's head. Specifically, its hair. Its hair has grown out and turned into more of a pompadour, leading it to have this cool JoJo-like haircut. Overall, I'm a big fan of Validuck's color scheme, but we do add other colors into its final evolution that makes it even better. Finally, we have my favorite Fakemon from today's video, Duckole. From the words duck and ole, because Duckole is 100% gonna be a matador. Come on, with it being so prevalent in Spain, you know we had to. It's gonna be a water fighting type Pokemon, finally giving us fighting typing for each and every single one of the starter types. And the water fighting type in general is one that people have been wanting to see for a starter ever since Samurott came into existence. And what a cool starter Pokemon to give this typing to. Starting from the bottom, Duckole's legs have once again gotten bigger, and its green lower half has also grown with its tail. And if you notice, Quaxly's little wave on its head is reflected onto Duckole's legs, as it appears twice over on both legs. So Amalry gave it a really nice touch. Its torso has become a lot more poofy, as it's meant to be the jacket or the vest that matadors wear, and it's gray in color, which works well with the rest of the colors that Duckole is rocking here, like its newfound red. So Duckole's wings actually grew to become the red cape that matadors use for bull fighting, as it's doing so in its animation. They're made in such a way that it could look like wings, or if Duckole chooses to grab them, they'll double and work as a cape. Its arms have also gotten a lot bigger to match this, and they become a lot stronger. And of course, its pompadour haircut looks as marvelous as ever. Again, definitely my favorite one from the batch. The colors, the design, I love it all. It's so good. So looking at the evolutions together, I can tell you that the theme that I chose for this group of starters was in fact sort of a festival theme. We have a dancer, a dragon that's used for festivals, and a matador, which I guess can be seen as sort of entertainment for festivals. And that's the reason why I went for a matador over a pirate. The thing is, I really doubt the theme of these games will be around festivals, since Gen 8 was largely around entertainment, so this one is most likely going to be very different. But for my own starter designs, I decided to go for this anyways. And while I don't think it's necessary for every dual typing starter trio to have a secondary type trio that works well in terms of weaknesses and resistances, I did keep that element going here, as we have a Fire Steel starter who hits the Grass Fairy type both ways, and that in turn hits the Water Fighting type in both ways, and finally the Water Fighting type hits the Fire Steel type right back. So the types work really well. And whether we get starter Pokemon like these or not, I would at the very least love to see those typings. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to check out Amalry and the legendary Pokemon video that we made when you can, and I'll see you guys on the next video, alright? Later.